Hi, I'm Ron Nutter, and welcome to another edition of Tech Bites with Ron Nutter. Just like it says on the title slide, this time we're going to set up Android OS under VirtualBox. There's a DVD or an ISO rather you can download, and I've got a link to it in the description, where you can get pretty close to what you'd expect on an Android phone. Here's the advantage. It gives you a test bed, so if you are looking to go Android and you're on iPhone now, but you want to kind of get a feel for it outside of what you'll have in the store when you go to pick one up, whether it's carrier or independent. This way you can kind of have a feel for it walking in. It also gives you a test bed, so if something acts up on the phone, you can go to a VM and double check it as well. So let's go ahead and shift over to the VirtualBox screen, and we're going to click on New. And we're just going to call this one Test because I can. So we'll go Other, and we'll select VirtualBox. That's the name of the SSD, and VirtualBox VMs. Okay, and then we will select Linux for the type. We will go Linux 2.6, which is 3.4, 4.x, 64-bit. Anyway, that's the option that I'm selecting. Amount of memory, it says 1 gig. You know what? I'm feeling generous. I'm going to give it 4096 because 4 gigs ought to be decent. And we may find out in time we have to ramp that up. Now, its default hard drive is going to be 8 gigs. We're going to go with the VDI, which is the VirtualBox image. VMDK you'll see used in VMware. I just stick with the defaults. Dynamically allocated, what that means, as we tell it the final drive size here on another screen, it's not going to tie up all that chunk at once. It's going to start out with, I think it's an 8 gig size file, and gradually build it up in sections. So, and here's, see, it's going to start out with 8 gig. We're going to tell it, no, we really want 32. So it's going to build it up in chunks. And I could be wrong on the initial size. Now, before you do anything, click Settings, and we will go to System and Processor. Let's give it 2 CPUs. And if you've got more, but I'm bound on the MacBook Pro. I've only got 8 at this point, so we'll just do that. We'll click on Display. Now, here is the secret sauce, folks. Write this one down and highlight it. This is what you want to make sure you have selected, because if that's not selected, then the Android OS GUI will not start. It will sit there to command prompt and you're done. It's not going to happen. So we'll click on OK. Now we'll click Start. Now, before I click Start, what have I not done? I didn't give it the name of the ISO, but you know what? It's smart enough to realize that. So we're going to go down here and pick it up. And since I've already been working with it, it knows about it. But anyway, you'll click on this icon right over here, and you can go right to where you've got your ISO stored. So, I mean, I can either click that, I can click on that, go to my SSD, go to the ISO directory, and if I go down here, I should see Android. There we go. And I've also got the 32-bit version. But anyway, we're going 64. So it's a matter of how you get there. And Start. And we're going to get the screen a little bit larger here, make that easier to see. And we will go down here to Installation, and it's going to do a little bit of pre-setup, and then we'll go here and we will click or tap C for Modify Partition. By it saying no, okay, we won't use GPT, so we will do New, Primary, and we'll say 32 gigs, so that's what it's picked up the size is we're going to use. And we'll do Bootable. And then when we want to make sure we write, so we write the partition out, and yes, and it's writing the partition out, and you can see the little blinky thing at the bottom where the drive flashing, and it may be doing it so quick. So then we'll say Quit. And then we'll hit Enter, and we will say ext4, and yes, and we'll say yes to loading grub. And basically, if you know what grub is, just tell it yes. It's basically a boot manager is what it amounts to. And we will hit yes on the install system as read write. That was one of the other things I found in all the setups that I had been through is that needs to happen. And when you think about it with the files it's going into and setting things up. Now, here's just to talk about, do you see this little icon here? That's the hard drive that's set up, and this is where it's reading from the ISO file. So you can kind of see what's going on. So if you ever really want to know, that's what some of those icons are going to tell you. And I haven't even talked about NAT like I have on some of the others. So that's, we'll just get this up and running. And yes, we will run. And it should come up here in just a second. You notice the command prompt was there ever so slightly. And let's go here and resize this. Now, it's going to take its sweet time, and it does take forever. So what we're going to do just to save you some time is I'm going to shut this machine down. You basically, this is the rough process that we've walked through. So I've got another one that's already pre-built, and it's just going to save us several minutes in going through things. And you can see when you reboot it, this is where it should come to. And so I didn't have to select anything. And now this is the part where if you didn't do that 3D acceleration, you'll see this, then you'll see that prompt and it will sit there. But you notice it immediately went away and brought this up. So this is your indication right here that the GUI is up and running. Give it a few seconds. It's really very straightforward. Now, what you're not seeing at this point, if I'd let the other installation run its course, and it would have taken several minutes, it's going to go through and you'll be asked to link your Google account, which by now you've probably got one. When you go through the steps of getting things linked, it's going to say, do you want to synchronize this against your other Android device? Now, in my case, I have several different Android phones. I told it, no, I wanted this to be a unique instance because if I hadn't, it would have proceeded to have copied everything down. Now, this is what you will see when the GUI starts up. By using your Google account, and I've got Gmail, so it automatically configured my Gmail setup based on my information in my Google profile. And it puts Chrome out there. So as you start installing things, it's just you go into the Play Store, and this is the interface that you'll get, and we'll type, what's one of the names I want to use? LifeX. Now, the first time you try to download something, it may get a little quirky on you. I'll warn you up front. There's some additional libraries it's going to sense it needs to download. So we'll just click Install. And immediately it goes to downloading, where before it didn't. It did momentarily pause on me, and it took a while. You'll see stuff up here in the upper left-hand corner. You'll see an arrow downloading that it was downloading some support libraries. Then I could go right back in to the Play Store and see. We'll just open up LifeX. And so it's just like being there. And I'm going to be going through some of the apps, and let's face it, I'm not going to tell you this thing's going to be trouble-free. It's not going to be a little glitchy. We may find over time we need to give it a little more memory. We're just going to have to see. This is going to be an experimentation for both of us. But at least it gives you an option of getting this up and running. And isn't that the main thing? I mean, at least you've got a test platform. So you can, as you're kicking the tires on things, if you don't want to try it on your phone right away, put it in VirtualBox. And there will probably be updates over time, but that's something that, we'll just all have to see and go through the process. And one of the next videos I will do is showing you how to back up your Android device. So this is, again, something when you get the physical phone, there's a couple of things that you want to look at doing, because that way, if something happens and you have to either factory reset the phone, or worst case, go get a new phone, by putting a couple of apps on the phone, you can then get that phone very close back to where it was. And it's at least it's an option. It beats have to reinstall everything, doesn't it? So we're going there slowly but surely. I've got some travels coming up here in the next few weeks, so I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently. If I can get some video staged ahead of time, I will. But if not, I'll actually try to do some from where I'm traveling, because some of the other things you see me working with, Habitat, I'm going to show you how to set that up as a portable security system. I'm talking with several companies right now. I'm in the process, probably here in the next few weeks. I'll be getting some products in to take a look at and show you where they can fit into your smart home. And we'll keep moving in that direction. Thank you for everybody who has subscribed to the channel. And if you got some use out of this video, would appreciate it if you could give it a like, forward this to a friend, and let them know where you found out about this information. And on this screen, you will be seeing video links to other items that I have done, and to help you learn a little bit more as we go on this journey. Thank you much for your time, and we'll talk to you again soon.